Hey everybody, it's Paul Grossman, the dark arts wizard of test automation, a guy who hangs out at the Test Guild with Joe Colantonio. All right, so it's a Saturday. I was a little bored and I thought, you know what? Something I haven't done in a very long time is a live session with test automation. And this is a challenge. It's going to be a database validation challenge, and it's open to anyone out there who has tools. If you want to set up your own video, that's cool. Or if you want to open up your tool to me, I'm also happy to build this validation and show how quickly you can do it. And so let's get started over here. I'm not going to waste too much time over here. I've got my StreamYard video, so I'm going to push that over here, and I'm going to go over to Websim. So a couple of things that we're going to do over here. One, we're going to build the demo, the challenge with AI just to start off. And what I like to do is use Websim. I have a whole bunch of different little projects that you can find under the Dark Arts Wizards Websim over here. But we're going to build one automatically. And let me just explain what I want to do. I want to have a table that takes a whole bunch of grades and averages them together and gives me the total at the bottom. And then I'm going to put in a button that says, I want to rebuild the table, but intentionally give a wrong calculation at the bottom of the table. That's what I want to do. And we're going to use AI to first go build it. And then we're going to use an automation tool to go and try and test it and build that and see how long it takes. Oh, and by the way, what we're going to do, I'm going to try and put this up here. Let me go get a clock over here, and we're going to time this out. I know this video is recorded. It's a timer over here, but I'm going to go and put in a clock over here and see if I can. Let's move this over here, and I'm going to put the clock up here. Let's just do that. I'll move that over, and we'll get it started, and we'll see how long it takes for me to build the demo and how long it takes for me to build the test validation, and we'll do that for both. So here we go. I'm going to we'll get us started over here. And so the first thing is, what would I like to create today? I need a table of 10 grades and that are averaged at the bottom. We're going to do this all in different pieces here at the bottom. We're going to see if Paulie can spell this, that are averaged at the bottom. Bottom. All right. So we'll let that cook away. And as it's thinking about it, I'll let you know that there are different ways that this can build this table. There are lots of different items over here, lots of different LLMs. You got Gemini, Kimi, Haiku, QTP, and they each take different amounts of tokens in order to build this. I have purchased my own tickets, and there we go. We've got a table out there. It kind of built them out there. That's cool. Assignment, and it comes up with an average of 81. What would I like to do? So I would like to, I'm not crazy about assignment 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are test grades of 10 different students. Okay. We'll do that because I have to be a little bit more, kind of twitchy about this. So I'm going to say, hey, let's do this. So it's chugging away. Instead of assignments, it'll change it to 10 different names. One thing I'm not crazy about is that it's just not displayed, but entirely on the screen. But I suppose if I open it up, it does get a little bit better. But we'll see about that. That's another thing. So we have student 1, student 2, random kid names, please. And can you condense the table to show all names in the viewport? We'll call that in the viewport. Do that over there. I got one person watching me. Hello, one person watching me. Yay. All right. So I'm asking them to generate random names over there and to kind of condense the entities into a smaller viewport. Let's see how well it does. Because I mean, this is pretty big. I want something small. I want to be able to see average on the screen when it gets down to the end there. And it's hard to do when you have really, really big spacing in between over here. So let's see how well it does this. And we might even change different thinking items over here. And it is chugging away over here. And did it finish yet? I think it's still working on this guy over here. It's still figuring. Okay, there we go. Now it's building the new page. All right, we spent about 3 minutes trying to come up with this page with Websim. I really like Websim because I can build simulations of stuff that I've had before, where if there's stuff I can't show on the website, I can actually build a simulation of what I'm doing. I do have a lot of other projects, one of which is my first automation challenge, which was the combo box challenge. The problem is that in my very first automation project, the combo box that I had, it had different it wasn't it had a combo box of a drop down list, and then you could type in something to select one of the items. You didn't have to just select it, just like a regular combo box. The problem was it wasn't really a combo box. And by the way, this was back in 2001, and the combo box would basically, it was not a combo box, it was a input field that was laid on top of a web list. So it was a mock combo list. And the automation tool I was using, it happened to be WinRunner at the time. It was actually a copy. There's WinRunner. I still have a copy of it. One of my nice little things. And it couldn't figure out how to work with this interface. And the way we figured out that we could get it to work was that we would put the action to the element. We put have the element be could take the focus, and then we'd hit tab. It would move to the next element, which is like a date field or something like that. And then we would hit shift tab and would move back to the previous one. But the thing was that the tab would skip over that second element and go to the field. But if you had shift tab, it would go back to the drop down field, and it would actually expand it automatically. And then you could pick from whatever you had in there. It was kind of cool. All right, so what's going on over here? Sonnet has kind of fallen asleep on us. So we're going to go and try, let's try a Gemini. And we're going to try and get that to create this student names, this table. I'm going to go and reset this. Yeah, I should have quit while I was ahead. You know what? I think we might. But before we do that, I'm going to say, copy this, and we're going to get rid of that, delete this version because it's just sitting there doing nothing. And I'm going to go and say, hey, random kids' names, please. And we'll let Gemini figure out how to do this. Yeah, occasionally the LLMs will fall asleep on you and go, I don't know, and go off somewhere and not do anything. So now it's Gemini's turn to go take a look at it. As I said, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. I've not tried Kimi and never heard of it before, so I might play with it later. I've not tried Haiku. GPT-5 definitely is cool. GPT Mini, I can do it without spending any of my tokens on this. So let's see how this. Okay, cool. We got Jane Doe, always very popular. Ethan Hunt is on a Mission Impossible, and Charlie Brown's out there. Diana Prince, Wonder Woman is there. I love the names that they've picked out here. George Costanza. All right, it's all right. It's in fact the Christmas tradition, Festivus, the celebration for the rest of us is coming up. Fantastic, great names. I'm gonna see if I can expand this out. It still is a little wide. Can you reduce the the height so that all values are in the viewport, including the total. You gotta kind of talk to these things like they're, you know, set it up, item by item. So we're gonna stick with Gemini for the moment, see what it comes up with. Maybe it can reduce the setting over here. Oh, look, I can change the grade while I'm in there. All right, cool. All right, so it's saying, hey, I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna go and set myself a margin of like 15 pixels, and we'll see how that comes out. So I'm gonna bring this over here a little bit, let that chug away. It's thinking about it. It's processing it. Boy, while this is going on, you know what's going to be really cool is that I want to grab my URL. And while it's thinking about it, we're going to go over to testRigor over here. And I'm going to create a new suite, which is grade table. We'll call it the Websim grade table challenge, and we'll see how long we can do that. I'm going to put in this URL over here just to build it. I can change it later. I'm going to change the number of test cases I'm creating to 0, and I'm going to say create this, and it's now created a suite. I'm going to add this over here, and this is the table AI table validation. I'm just setting that up. So we've got something good to go, and I will say validate the table, click the button, and validate again. And I'll tell you what the button is. The button is that we're going to click a button that will give us a wrong answer. So here I am back over here. Let's see. It still didn't really modify the height on this. What would I like to change? Can we remove the adjust grade adjustment fields and just display a table with cells? Okay, we'll let that chug about. We gave it 2 shots, and then if this doesn't work, I'm going to go from Sonnet to Gemini to GPT and Haiku. We'll just keep working our way up until one of these things actually kind of figures it out. So it's still chugging away out there, going to a table. Now I do have this table over here. I'm going back over to testRigor, and I'm going to say verify the total, the average is correct using AI. We'll do that. And we'll say verify page. The average is correct using AI. And I'm going to say add and run. We're going to let that chug away and see if it gets to my page over here, because this is where it's going. It should be showing me version 1, but let's see. It is still can we? It looks like it didn't. I didn't hit the enter key, so we're gonna try. Let's see. It's still trying. You know what? I'm going to X this out, and sorry, dude, you lost me. So I am going to go, instead of draft 5, I am going to go and delete that. Oh, wait, here it comes. Draft 5's coming up. We'll set that as current. And this is, where does it say? It's just said, there we go. I want table /5 over here. And we'll see how it does. It's chugging away. It's spinning. I'm not too impressed by this. So I'm going to say, you know what? You had me and you lost me. So we're deleting that. Okay. Go back to this version over here, which was good enough. And we're going to change our version, our build, GPT-5. Let's go to that. GPT-5. Oh, I don't want that. I've got my history turned on so I can go take a look at it. So we're going to say, can we remove the grade adjustments? Can we remove the grade adjustment field? Boy, I wonder what it meant, what it thought when I said that field. And just display, we'll try that, a table with cells. Okay, so we're going to let GPT-5 try and figure out what I want to do. You know what I want to do. I don't need to be able to adjust these grades over here. However, if I do adjust them, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, that takes us to 86.7. And if I start upgrading them like this, that's cool. But I don't really care about that. All right, so it's chugging away. GPT-5 is doing this. I'm going to go take a look at what happened over here. This test case, the first one I built, what did it do? It actually went to logging in into my edit field, but it doesn't have everything on the table, which I'm not. That's one thing I want, is to have everything in there. And it says verify the page average is correct. Now this is more than likely I just didn't type it well enough. I'm going to take a look at this information. It says the average is correct is false because the screenshot shows a grade table with 8 students, but there are actually 10 because the screen over there should be a 10 items in there. That's why I want to have the image, the entire thing fit on the entire page. All right, look at that. This did it. Look at that, GPT-5. Okay, you're now my favorite. All right, so we're going to grab this. This is table number 6, and I think we're all, almost done here. I'm going to go back over here to testRigor. We're going to put this into the full screen. And I'm going to go change my settings over here. The settings over here tells me what it went to go to navigate. And in general, this is the challenge. And the website it is going to, the default website is, I think, actually test suite details. Yes, it's up here. This is the one I have to change. So we'll go and put number 6 in there, and I'll say rerun failed test. Go ahead, and we'll come back over here, and we'll see how this chugs along with the brand new image, which won't have 8 items listed in there. It'll have all 10. Because why? How do I know? Because I can see all of these in here like that. So I'll let that cook over there. We're going to come back over here, and I did have this minimized. So let's go take a look at our timer over here. Timer's at 15 minutes, building a website and building a test against that website, because I want to do 2 things. One, I want to be able to find a bug, don't I? Of course I do. All right, so I'm going to build in a bug. So add a button named let's see, we'll call it a, let's see, we got 3 people watching. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. I'm glad you're excited. One person is usually some sort of robot that always watches me, but the other 2 are real people. So hey, shout out to you. I do see Aaron Martin is giving me a message. Shout out to Aaron. I was impressed by Websim at its debut, but have not kept up on its new features as a fast way to get a page going. Awesome. Yes, I agree with you. I just use it for sandboxes and testing because all I do is test automation. So thank you for that message. By the way, anyone watching on YouTube, you can send messages to me. You can chat with me. I'll glance up every once in a while if you want to shout out or say hi. Definitely, chat. All right, so I'm going to continue on. I need to modify this, and I'm going to add a button named refresh. And when refresh is clicked, a new set of test grades will be displayed. The average will be intentionally calculated in calculated did incorrectly. I think maybe we could hard code it. I don't know. Incorrectly. When clicked again, the average will be correct. So it's kind of a toggle, like a toggle. Let's call it that. I'm going to let it sit there and do that and chug away. So I did lose one person. Maybe Aaron is the one person left over there who's actually watching me live. GPT is sitting there chugging away. Notice that it did get it correct. It got everything on the page over here, and did better than the other two. In case you're a little late to this one, it's better than Sonnet and Gemini did. So it's sitting here chugging away, thinking about it. And that was really fast. Look at this. All right, so here's our item. It should say average. The average is 86.1, which is great. And if I hit a refresh, it comes up with 83. And if I hit refresh again, 76. I am not sure if those averages are correct. So I'm going to go and send it over to testRigor. Let's go take a look over here. testRigor did give us an invalidation, so I'm going to go and change this over here, and we're going to go give it a different table, number 7, and I'll hit rerun. Now there's something I did notice. When I changed that to 6 before, it did not take it. Something else I'll also point out to you, there ain't no save button over here. You cannot save without rerunning your test cases. And this is saying, hey, do you sure you want to do this? Well, yeah, I know I did want to do that. So the test cases are back in progress. I suspect those previous runs were running against the original version. In fact, we can see because the right version had the up and downs. This one, the wrong version, the older version, had these fields that were in here. The right versions just had them hard coded in there. So we'll see how this looks. The average is still a little bit off the screen, so I'm not sure that that's going to work out really well. It's because I've added the refresh, but it did come back green, so I like that. So let's go take a look at what the results say over here. The results say, more details, show extra info. The average is correct because the table of 10 students, calculating all this, adding it up, it comes up to 861. If you divide it, it comes up to 86.1. The displayed screen table appears to be 86.1 because it's slightly off the screen, which matches the calculation correctly. Cool. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to click this link. This should be a button. Everything else is a button. It's really easy for people to kind of miss this. This is a link that will quickly bring up an editor so it doesn't leave your screen. It's really cool, but when it's a link, people just kind of go blind to it. They don't even see it. You don't even see this link view execution, which is a nice little thing, but it's not a link. It's a button, not a button. It's a link. It's invisible, and well, we'll talk about that later. So the next thing we want to do is click the button. So we're going to say click refresh. And we'll do that. And we will copy this and refresh again. And hopefully when we do that, it will give us another validation that says it's failed. I'm going to update and retest the test. All right, so there's our grade over here. The table is still slightly off the page. Can you move the refresh button to the right of the screen? Let's see, right of the table. Okay, and I'll give it that. We'll let GPT-5 think about that. It's going to chug away. We're going to go back over to testRigor, see what it's doing. All right. So says it is in progress. And we'll take a look at this validation over here and go to more details, show extra info. It says, yeah, it's true because the grade table is this. It did all the calculations. And this matches the value shown in average row at the bottom of the table, which is 86.1. Do we actually see that? Let's zoom in a little bit. 86.1. Look at that. Look how much of that. It's saying, I'm pretty sure that's 86.1. That's pretty cool for the AI stuff. Keep in mind one thing that's interesting about this. This is not using any tables. Usually, I'm a test automation engineer. I've been doing it for 25 years. If I were given this challenge, just 5 years ago, it would say, okay, I need to go and figure out what is the CSS and XPath for finding this table. And then I have to find the columns, and then I have to find the elements that have the cells, and it's not the first cell, it's the second cell, and exclude the top cell because that's student and grade, and then add up all these cells, and then do the calculation, and then pick up the last cell, the 11th row, and figure out if that's calculated. That's a lot of code. That is a ton of code. Check this out. We clicked on the, I'm going to go forward over here. We're going to make this big. We're going to go forward over here and say, we're going to click on the refresh button. It found that. Again, look, you've been watching me for 23 minutes. No CSS, no XPath, no page object model whatsoever. Isn't that amazing? I've been building page POMless automation frameworks for the last 15 years. And as far as I can tell, just one person came up with that idea just recently. Said, I got a great idea. Let's do this without page object model. You know who that was? That's the guy who developed Selenium. I just saw him like a month ago. I got a great idea. Let's try it without a page object model. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay. All right, I didn't mention any names over here because I don't need to get any flack for yanking the chain of people who are a little bit behind the times. All right, so we're going to take a look at this, and we'll go to the next page. We're clicking on refresh, and remember when we click the refresh, it comes up with a bad number. So that is 84.1 over there. Let's go see what the results are. It's highlighted in red, and I'm going to go over here, take a look at the more results, and let's see what it says here. It says the statement the average is correct is false. Why? Because all these visible grades, I add them up, and the average comes out to be 79.1, but the screenshot shows an average of 84.1. The discrepancy suggests the average displayed is incorrect based on the data, though there may be additional students, just not. It's saying, hey, it even gives an out, maybe we don't have all this. Maybe there's 20 students, and I just don't see them there. So I'm going to go and keep in mind, remember, like I said, that is based off of just half of an image validation over there on that. So I'm going to go back over to our grading table over here. It did move the refresh button over here. So this is version 8. We're going to give this one more run. As I mentioned, remember, this is intentionally supposed to pick up an error. This error is not a problem. So I'm going to we're going to go over to the test suite details. We're going to go to version 8 and hit rerun over here. And then I think it's rerunning. It didn't give me the, there we go. You have to click it twice, maybe. That seems kind of weird, but yes, we'll click on that. Now we're going back over here to the test cases. We're going to give it a run and let it chug away. It's not that fast. This is the old results over here. In fact, if you want to see what the results are, you can go and click on View Execution. This should take us to our historical run. No, that's just the execution. That's not what I'm looking for. Let me go back. It's been a little while since I played around with this. So if I want to go down, I'll hit the drop-down arrow over here and edit test cases, view steps. I want to go to my history. My gosh, I can't remember. I can't believe I don't remember how to get to the history on that. The history is there. I know that. So I'm going to go, or maybe it is the history. Maybe I'm missing that. Executions. I want to go back to executions. We'll go to executions because I saw it over here. Here's executions. We'll jump down there. There's our last 3 executions. This is the one that's currently in progress. I can actually go and take a look at that. All runs, historical reports. If I click on this, so it should take us back to this. I got 3 people watching. Okay, this is boring. Let's not do the boring stuff. Let's go back over here. Now it does say it failed. That's an intentional failure. It's actually doing a validation from the previous version, version 7 and version 8. Let's see how this is looking. We'll go to 7, 8. Look at that. It actually has the average on there on the screen because I moved the refresh right over there. 27 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm going to call it at that. And let's go back over to our details, show our error information. It says, hey, this is not correct because the tables are there. It's calculated over here, coming up to 803, dividing the number of students by 10, and the correct average is 80.3. So therefore, the displayed average of 85.3 is incorrect. And how do we know that? We did validate that previous one, showing the extra information saying, hey, take a look. I did these calculations. It came out to be 861, divided that by 10, came out to be 86.1, which exactly matches what's on the table. So I have the table down over here, 86.1. The first time you do it, you hit refresh. It will give us a invalid average, and it picks up on it. Isn't that cool? All right. Hey, everybody. 27 minutes. 3 people are watching. Well, 2 people are actually watching. Let me see if there's any challenges. If there's, I have a few more minutes. If there's anything that you want to see, you can go into the chat. I'm even going to show you my screen. I've got a chat. I got a chat over here. I can see if you are chatting on my screen, and we're doing this live. Just wondering, is there something else that you would like to see? Shout, or even there's a private chat. I wouldn't say private chat. Hello. Okay, that's private chat is with people who are in the studio, and there's really nobody else with me in the studio, so I can't do that. But I will go back over here to our regular chat. People, note, style, media, banner, recording. All right. Well, I guess I have. I don't know it. No, there we go. So there was our Aaron Martin was talking about this. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can do to kind of show this off. You know what? I'm going to do a call out. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this on LinkedIn or anything, hit like and subscribe. Also, catch the Test Guild. Test Guild always has a great, cool automation session in January. I have proposed a presentation. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there or not, but I'll give it my best shot. And I'm going to do, like I said, a call out since I said, hey, like and subscribe if you like what you see over here. So here is the shout out. I'm going to do the shout out. You ready? The challenge goes out to ZapTest, ExcelQ, Chromatic, Kusho, Whoopee, Harness, the vStellar, Repise, BugBug, Context QA, Qmetry, Kane AI, Perforce, Testers AI, Test Collab, Eggplant, Tricentis with Tosca or Testim, whichever one you want, Functionize, Atom, Test Sigma, and let's see, Autify, QA Wolf, and maybe even testing on with Gina. If you are coded, you're welcome to give it a shot. Do it in Cypress, Playwright, or Puppeteer. I'm making a shout out to anyone out there who, one, wants to make a video and see if they can beat that timing over there. Remember, that is 27 minutes, 48 seconds to actually write the test case. Now, to be fair, writing that test case was a lot shorter in testRigor. It took I don't know, probably, well, it took me 3 shots at doing it. So if I were to do edit test case, I can go back over here. We can actually see the previous historical, what I took. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's figure out this calculation over here. Right over here, I did this first trigger, writing this on at 2:34 Chicago time. It is now 2:55, but we're not going to do that. We're doing actually good calculations over here. That is 14:34, and when I did the final execution where it all worked was at 14:49. You know what? That's not really that's not exactly fair. What do you think? What's a good calculation over here? It took me what? When did I create this? Let's take a look and see if I can come up with a good average on this. The creation time I know is always listed over here. It says it was created by me at 2:34 in the afternoon. Last modified at 2:45, 34:45. That's about 12 minutes. And during that 12 minutes, I was jumping back and forth between other stuff. Um, so I think that's pretty cool. But again, like I said, I would like to see other test automation tools try to do that. Build that test in about 12 minutes. So we'll give you 27, get 30 minutes, 27 minutes to do this. And in fact, we'll make it nice and easy. I'm going to show you what the URL is. It's this right over here. It is Dark Arts Wizard grade table /8. That's the last version that I did that had everything displayed on the screen. You click the refresh, it will have a good result, a bad result, a good result, a bad result, all sorts of stuff like that. You can test it out, and the challenge is out there. All right, everybody. I've been Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard of Test Automation, having a lot of fun with you. If you come up with a challenge, if you want to see me do something else, please reach out. Message me, leave a message on my stuff. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. I respond very quickly on LinkedIn if you find that. And with that said, I see, like I said, there are 3 other eyeballs kind of watching me. One person each. Congratulations. 1 person up on YouTube, 1 on Facebook, and 1 on Twitch watching me. I wonder if they're all robots. I don't know. Hey, I got a response from Aaron over there. Aaron, let's see. I think your challenge included editing the page, not just the test case. That is true. I'm not going to argue with you, Aaron. I had planned to build the whole thing first and then just see how long it takes to build a test case out there. Aaron, if you want to see some other kind of challenge, I'm assuming you're an automation engineer of some sort with some background on that. If you've ever come across a challenge, I would love to build this over here. If you want to put the comments, by the way, I'm going to put the comments on stage over here just to show you. I'll do a small font, medium. Is it coming up here? I don't know. This would be kind of cool. I turned it on, but I don't see it there. Yeah, I'm always up for different challenges. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do one more thing just to show you show up here. There's the comments from Aaron over there. I'm gonna go and take a look at my other previous projects, and I'll tell you exactly what sort of stuff I did. So today I did the grade table. This is the combo box challenge over here. If I click on that, this is a standard combo box where I could type in SA Saturday. If I hit S, it's every day in the week that has an S in it. That's a standard combo box over here, but this is the one that I had 20 years ago, where if I type in, I can put in, let's see, Y. Let's see, and we can do that. And it basically goes to January. This is not a true combo box. This is a drop-down box. And this over here is actually an input field. This is a simulation of the challenge I had 24 years ago, working on an X-ray machine with trying to put in a value. But the automation tool WinRunner, as I mentioned over here, still have the code, still have the script on there. I can go play around with it. My personal opinion, HP made a really big dumb decision putting that under, getting rid of it. But hey, that's above my pay grade. If anyone actually uses QTP UFT anymore, it's interesting. But it used to be that it was the number 1 product, and I used it for 12 years. I paid the mortgage company my mortgage for 12 years. And you know what language it was? Basic. You don't know of anyone out there. I'm the only guy who sits there and goes, I paid the mortgage payment with Basic, the stuff we learned in the 1980s. It doesn't impress anybody, much less an application developer. But But yeah, the challenge was to try and interact with this. So if you want to try that, this is the website over here, the Combo Box Challenge. There's a couple different versions of that, but I think this is the latest one. What else do I have under my little projects that I do just for fun? There's a side thing about the American roulette wheel over here. You ever wonder about if you could make a bet, an optimal bet, to try and hit all the numbers near 0 and 00? Well, everyone tells you that it's impossible. But this is my side sort of thing. 4 people are watching me. You missed it all. You got to watch the next person who joined up over here. You got to take a look over there, watching there on YouTube. This is not about gambling. This is about test automation. But I'm showing off some of the other projects I do in Websim that I get this idea in my head. So this is a standard American wheel. Doesn't spin or anything like that. But if you were to put bets on 0, 00, there's 0, and you can see I'm highlighting up there, 1 and 2, and then you went to, let's say, let's do this square, 10, 11, 12, 14. It doesn't look all that interesting. 27 and 28. And then if I go down to the bottom, 35 and 36. And I think if we add in 24, we can do that. Oh, and we do 1 on 9. What am I missing? 26 and 30. It just so happens that 26 and 30 are included in this area. So if we include these over here, take a look what you get. You could do a street bet over here, a single bet here. That's 2 chips, 3, 1 chip over here. It's 4. This is 5. And you get this one over here, 6. You do all those bets over there. You get a giant pockets, what I call giant pockets. If the ball lands somewhere near the 0, guess what? You're making money. It is just something I had in my head for many years, and I thought, well, I wonder if there's a way I could build that. I built it in Websim. Let's take a look at a couple other projects I've got over here. Let's see, 3-column layout. This is a 3-column layout. That's another roulette strategy thing I was working on. Let me get back to my automation stuff. I've got a login simulator. You can put in a username and a password, and if you actually put in the wrong password, it will give you a couple other fields that you have to deal with, and they're a bit of a challenge. Let's see, vulnerable to admin login tracker. There's a candy mapper one. Let's see. There's the student GPA table, which is exactly the demo that I just did today, but I just happened to decide to do it live. Here's the hello world of test automation. What is that? A username, a password, and selecting an environment that you want to go and log into, and a couple other things. This is a hello world because it has almost all of the objects that you would ever work with, an input field. You have a drop-down list, a regular one. Wasn't messing around with that. A checkbox, radio buttons, light mode and dark mode. You can see, even validate that it works. A login button and a link. So in case you forgot the button, the thing over here. And this is this over here is an overlay which happens to block all the other stuff. You notice that this becomes gray. If I hit forgot password, we're saying that the password functionality will be here there soon. The big important thing is that this is a modal dialog box, which means if I click on anything behind the scenes, they should do nothing. If you are an automation engineer and you wrote a test script that says, oh, click on the login button, and it did it, it's wrong. You'll get dinged on that. In fact, I do test automation validations or reviews when people are doing interviews. And this is one of the things I ask them to do is go to this website. Okay, click forgot password, click OK, and try to click login or try to change to dark mode. And if you write a script, and that should take you just a few minutes, it doesn't take a whole bunch of time. If your script actually clicks on dark mode, then you got a problem. And I have to ask you, well, how do you explain that? Some of the other stuff that I do, let's see, we'll go through a little bit more over here as we chug along. What else do I have? This is the Dark Arts Wizard shopping cart. We'll go to the shopping cart. What did I do? What did Paulie do? What did Paulie dance? That's from Footloose. Let me go back to my projects over here. Let's go scrolling down over here and go find that, because that one's also interesting if you're testing yourself. This is a US lists validation. Let me give this a refresh, because it looks like maybe Websim has kind of fallen asleep. And I've entertained you guys enough that you've hung out here. This is, again, another modal dialog check box over here. You want to put in your name, your address, and suite, and all that stuff. And then if I want to go to continue to payment, it'll ask you, hey, you got to fill this out before you do this. And then if I click on same as billing, shipping address, it completely disappears. Well, there is a version that will actually block this out so that you can't interact with it. Same sort of idea. So I get these little ideas about, what kind of demo do I want to go and build someday. This is one of my first ones. I add to cart. Just click add to cart, and cart was sent to your cart. I don't know. It's kind of goofy. I don't know. One of the other things that I do, if you're watching here, and I'm just going to kind of wrap this up, I'm going to go over here. This is my actual day-to-day job. And what I do is I am agentically coding a automation framework. This is in Playwright, but I'm asking Playwright to do all sorts of things over here to embed things. You may have missed at the beginning. Check it out. I am building a palmless automation framework. What does that mean? It means I don't need a page object model. There is a page object model in this framework, but if I do click over here, let's say I'm going to go to login. I'm going to do this because login is where I've got it. Login. Let's try under search. Let's see. I'm looking at this. Login because three of you have hung around here long enough to see this, and I thought, you might be interested in some of this. This is a search. This is login. I don't want to search. I want the code. So if I go over here and I go back to my code over here, really, it's deciding to have a problem with me. Well, I don't care. I will go over here and I will just go jump to one of my test cases. I run a bunch of test cases. I run them in prod and dev. Not all of them are in prod. Some of them are not allowed to do that. But if I go over here I'm going to go to trailers. I'm going to go to my trailer test and go pick it up. There we go. And I'll point out what I mean. Before each one, I do a login. So I'm going to go jump to my, dude, am I? Yes, I am showing the right screen. All right, cool. If I go to login over here, am I showing the right screen? Have I been? Yeah, let's do this. I've been boring you guys. You've been sitting here. I've been displaying not the right screen. Again, a big shout out to you guys. Thank you, Aaron. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I wish I had a ding that came up every time Aaron said, "Hey, Paulie, you're not displaying on the right window." Boy, I'm gonna have to do some editing once I post this up there. Thank you, Aaron. You're freaking awesome. Okay, so I fixed that. The point I was saying is that what I actually do day to day is that I create this. I'm kind of they call it vibe coding. I know it's got a bad annotation to it. I'm like, hey, I used to be using a pickaxe to tear up the street, and now I got a freaking jackhammer. I'm going to tear up this place in a lot of time. Get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. So I'm actually going through here, and I just wanted to point out that what I've got over here is a login page, and I'm going to point out that I have custom functions over here. And if I'm going to go to, let's say, I'm going to go click object over here. So this is your normal way that you would do a page object model. You have a login button called yes, and you would go to the definition. There's our locator description. That's read only. And then if I go down here, we can see this is the Playwright description for it. That's a page object model. But what a pain in the butt to do that. I think I can say that out of here. what if I instead just said I want to go and click on a button just by the name, which would be kind of cool. I am currently in, let me see what I'm in. I should be in login over here, and I should have an example of this. Doing a login. This is my login. I think it's the login prep is where my actual example is. Again, thank you. There's our login setup. I'm going to go over there, go to definition. So over here, what I've got is I am attempting to go, I do a whole bunch of other things, setting this up over here. Let me just do a dot click find. I've got to click, that's the yes. What I am looking for in the login is, this is login utilities. Oh man, what are you doing to me? I should know my own project. Let me go over to drivers. We're going to go jump over to this because my search for some reason is just not doing it. Login and set login. Yeah. Go over here, jump to definition. This is getting an object, a whole thing here, and I'm trying to find the click because there are 3 or 4 different objects that I click with, and I know that I am, click object. That's what I'm looking for. Click object. All right, let's go find one over here and see if I can find a good example. This is all click object. We're going to go do this and this. There is what I'm looking for. All right, cool. So here's an example of some of the stuff that I do. This is the old way when I first got the project. They were basically setting up a page object model. In this case, is like go click the next button. The next button is declared inside the object in the object repository. But I thought, wait, why not? I just have a method that goes and takes the string next. And then when I go and get to the string, if I go to the definition over here and it says, hey, if this happens to be a string, let's handle it a slightly different way. And let's go find this. And let's go take 5 different strategies. Let's see if we can find it with a button role by the exact name, or by a close match name over here. Or like a link. Maybe it wasn't a button. It was a link instead. Instead of a button, it's a link. Or maybe I could find it in the ARIA label. It's actually found in there, or a link over here from the ARIA label. It's a button or a link. Again, different classes of objects. I'm attempting to find and click, or an exact text match, or looking in the data test ID over here, and maybe I'm looking for it under a test ID over here. So 5 different ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways to go and find an element. And by the way, I know that this is a button or a link because the method I'm doing is click. I would not be looking for, if I'm looking for something that's in an edit, that I'm entering some field like a username, a password, a lookup field, whatever it is, I want to be able to find that. That's not going to ever be a button that I'm looking for. It's an enter field. So I'm looking for an input field, or something close to that, or maybe a multi-line input field, or that. And that basically reduces the maintenance, because you don't have to go back and through. If the developers decide, hey, you know, that link that it was in the last release, the last sprint, it is now a click button, well, then your automation framework automatically finds that. So that's some of the cool stuff that I do day to day. I work in a whole bunch of different test automation tools. I like natural language processing, where you can just type in the text and it just freaking does it for you. And I've been doing this for 25 years, and that's why I'm embedding it into my own framework. And this framework, I call it the Optimus Prime. Why do I call it the Optimus Prime? Because when I run it over here, you can see down here, it'll give me a picture of Optimus Prime. right there. That's my interpretation of Optimus Prime, doing all the cool stuff and outputting it out there. And that's a whole bunch of cool creativity. And that's really exactly what I do. Is I'm a very creative sided mind and a otherwise worldly sign, creative sided mind and a logical sign and side, and they all kind of move together. And the creative side says, "What if we can do this?" And the logical says, "Let me try it." Anyway, listen, I've got 4 people who've been watching over here. Haven't really had much more stuff out here, but again, I appreciate the 2 people watching me from YouTube, 1 person watching me from Facebook, and I really think the only real person out there is Aaron. Shout out to you, Aaron. Aaron, if there's anything you want to promote, if there's any company that you work for, anything like that, type it into the comments. I'll let it jump up here, and give a shout out. I always like doing shout outs and stuff to people. If you're looking for a job, let us know what you're looking for. I'm always trying to be helpful and help people, get and go along the way, whatever I can to kind of help them. So that is, I think, everything I'm going to tell you guys about what I've been doing. I'm going to appreciate you guys just hanging out over here for a while, watching me do all this sorts of cool stuff. Again, if there's anything, if you can see a chat button, if there's anything there you want to see me try and do on the fly, seriously, on the fly. We are live here. We're live streaming. If you want to see me do something live on the fly, please do it. If you want to see my history, if this is the first time you've met me and you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go over to Joe Colantonio's Automation Guild. Let me go show you that. I'll go to the Automation Guild, Test Guild, GUILD, Test Automation Guild. We'll go over there. And this is the Test Automation Guild. I'm out there. And if you take a look under podcasts and you go back like about a week, you're going to see the podcast. I'm on the podcasts, Test Automation Testing over there. And if we go back, you can see that's me, Optimus Prime, talking about the automation, the automation stuff that I do over there. If you look for me, if you search for me over there, Paul Grossman or Halloween, it's pretty easy to find. I've been on this podcast 10 times, or once every year, maybe a little bit more than that, because occasionally I get called back in. You can see me describe exactly what sort of crazy stuff I've been doing from 10 years ago all the way up to current. In fact, my first podcast, it's podcast number 103. It talks about where I started at a cool place called working in an X-ray lab, and all the crazy stuff that went on over there. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Shout out to Joe Colantonio for having me hosted on there, and hopefully I get to show off something with a presentation. And I'm going to let you guys go. Again, thank you so much, all of you, for watching. And Shashir, dude, that's Shashir. This is a guy I worked with a couple years ago. Look at him, man. He says, thanks, it's great work. He's coming in off of LinkedIn. Dude, you should reach out to me. Say hi. It's always good to see you. I hope you got to see most of this. It's basically me just building a automation demo using Websim, and then using testRigor to test it, and putting a shout out to other automation tool vendors to try and do it and maybe do it faster. So that's cool stuff. Shashir, it's been a long time since we chatted. So yeah, reach out to me. If you still have my phone number, it hasn't changed, give me a ring. And I'm going to say I talk way too much. So I'm going to bring this to an end. And I hope everybody here appreciated everything that I got to show off over here. I've run out of ideas. But if you have more ideas, please put them in the comments wherever you find this this session. If it's on LinkedIn, if it's on YouTube, if it's on oh gosh, all the different places that I'm up by there. Let's see if it's on Twitch or even on X. X says X was not able to actually do that, so I'm gonna go remove X. Bye X. All right, guys, I'm cutting off the stream. I might have something else to show you guys tomorrow because it's always something cool and new and different. And that's my wife calling, which means the show is over. Everybody, have yourself a great day. Cheers.